promotion to the rank of Colonel, United States Air Force. The presiding official for today's ceremony is Colonel Wayne M. Fritt, Chief, Aerospace Medicine Division, Office of the Command Surgeon, Headquarters, Air Combat Command. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the varsity colors, the singing of our national anthem by Senior Airman Brianna Winfield, and the invocation by Captain Dan.
Present the colors. Forward. March. Present. Arms. Port. Arms. Colors ready too.
Kara, I think long and hard about this prayer, and I really wanted to start out with the War Eagle. Yeah, thank you. For those who haven't read the Bible yet, she doesn't always pain, so I won't start that out. For those that are wondering why I'm dressed the way I am, you have two options. One is this is a tribute to Kara and I's service together in Qatar, or I ran out of the house today without pants.
So we're going to go with one.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. So, but before I do offer the blessing, I invite you to take a silent moment to commemorate this milestone for the Air Force and the Gormont family, according to the dictates of your own conscience, and to remember those standing in terror's way, offering the gift of healing and hope. Gracious God, I thank you and I praise you for the Gormonts, who have chosen to carry on a rich and long family legacy of service to our fellow citizens. For they are family who says, here we are, send us. Continue to promote wisdom, compassion, and strength in Kara this day and the days ahead. Continue to nourish Kevin and Kara's love affair with encouraging words, tender touch, and abundant laughter. Bless the daughters for Rebecca, Sharon, Cecily, and Sydney. Keep them on upward wing now and forever. And Lord, I humbly ask that you continue to guard and guide our airmen, our soldiers, our sailors, our Marines, and our allies during this season of war. May the season of peace dawn upon us soon. Amen.
Thank you, Airman Bloomfield and Chaplain Brantingham. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We are honored to have some very special guests with us today. Several members of Lieutenant Gormont's family have traveled to be here today for this celebration. Her husband, Captain Gormont, her parents, Lieutenant Colonel retired Jim Carr and Dr. Barbara Carr, her aunt and uncle, Colonel retired John Zink, wife Mary Lou, and their daughters Rebecca and Sharon. Her aunt and uncle, Ike and Mary Hookwater. Her godfather, Lieutenant Colonel retired Jim Webb. Her friends Evan and Susan Saunders. Dr. Jeff Doucette, Vice President of Patient Care Services and Chief Nursing Officer at Bon Secours Mary Immaculate Hospital. Unable to attend today are her daughters Cecily and Sydney. I would also like to thank and welcome our distinguished guests, Colonel Joseph Ladner, 633rd Air Base Wing Vice Commander, Colonel Pete Peters, ACC Chief of Medical Support, Colonel Sean Holloway, ACC's Chief Expeditionary Medical Operations Division, Colonel Diana Johnson, 633rd Air Base Wing Judge Advocate, Colonel Susan Pietrkowski, Commander, 633rd Medical Group, and Chief Master Sergeant Richard Burgos, Superintendent, 633rd Medical Group. We would also welcome the 633rd Medical Group executive staff, other commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, friends, and colleagues. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Colonel Wayne Pritt.
I want to hold their problems like that. You never know how this is going to go. I only do these things for the people that I really care about. If you've heard me speak before, you've heard me start that way several times, and it's true. My palms are sweating. I'm outwardly calm, but inside my heart is going like a locomotive. So, I asked Sarah, before I get to that, no, I'll go there. I asked Kara, well, what did you want from this? These things can go, a couple different ways, and Kara, what did you want? And what she told me was that, you know what? I just want you to get up there and talk like we were in your backyard around the bonfire, drinking scotch and having a good time. So, that's mostly what this is going to be like. The scotch will probably help, right? But I'll try to wing it without. First of all, I want to thank the singer of the national anthem. That was wonderful. Where are you at? Chaplain for his invocation. I don't care what he's wearing. That was good. I want you all to know, if you haven't already, the uniforms worn on this side over here amongst Kara's family. I know that we are honored by your presence, you that have gone before and created the Air Force that we're now living. And I know that your presence here, all of you, brings great joy to me. So I'm so glad you're here. And Kara, thank you for looking me up here.
Sweet torture.
So I guess I turned out as fair play. So I said I was going to be non-traditional, and I guess I will. Kara said that I can only have a napkin for notes. It's not a napkin, but it's damn close. I want you to know that Kara first joined the Air Force as a nurse, which is quite unusual for someone now wearing an MSC Corps badge. And I don't know if you knew it, but we were stationed together at Travis for 6 months and didn't know it. Yep. And I also forgot to bring my glasses today. So she did the nurse thing for a while and then separated in 99 to go do a master's in healthcare management and then re-entered as an MSc. First assignment back in was at Peterson. And she was the GPM there. And there's a trend that starts in her first assignment back as an MSc, where she is one of 16 company grade officers in that assignment. She then moves on to AFMC. She's on the staff there and given this choice assignment of the BRAC transition team. You're wrong there. And at the time, Colonel Siniskolke was her raider and had this to say about her: the #1 major in my 26 years. Colonel Siniskolke would go on to be General Siniskolke. She went then to Wright-Patterson. She was a section commander in NDOS. There she was one of 137 majors. And then she went on to be the readiness flight commander there. Next she went to Guam and was the SGA and one of 405s. After that, NDOS commander at Kirtland, one of 4 squadron commanders, one of 11 squadron commanders in the wing, and then to Langley, where she garnered one of 19 joint base Langley Eustace squadron commanders. So, why am I here? Kara and I met when I was at 13th Air Force up in Paca, and I had this crazy idea that was planned on happening about better integrating EMEDs to lend itself to humanitarian actions. Eventually that came to be known as the HART and evolved to the HRT today. But what's important is that we had to pick a unit to be the lead for this, and we chose Guam. And Kara was the SGA there. And Walt Casey was the group commander. Anybody remember Walt? He is a crotchety old SOB. And he was not a big fan. Put Kara in a very bad position because she was trying to run around and make all this work at the ground level, and she didn't have a whole lot of support from the group. But we did. It was quite successful. We went to Chute, and we had a little fun there. We had this whole thing set up, and it rained and rained and rained. And I have pictures of myself walking around that facility with water just below my kneecaps. And we had, I don't know, a dozen GOs coming the next day, the ambassador and everything else, and I was freaking out. Her get-up was awesome. She's in fitness shorts, combat boots, and her fatigue t-shirt, and running around cleaning and doing stuff and telling me, don't worry about it. Again, I'm panicking, right? This whole project going down in flames. morning, Carol, with a lot of help from the rest of the group, had that facility drained, squeegeed, put back together, and we ran patients through it and hosted the GOs, and that's why I wasn't fired the next day. So that's where I met with Carol. So then I come to Langley, and I've got a vacancy in the NDSS squadron. And I see Carol on the list. And I want Carol. And Carlin Hogan. Anybody know Carlin? Carlin, he's now the SG for Golden Strike. Right? Anyway, Carlin tells me, you can't have her. She's not on your approved MSC 5 choices list. And I went back and forth for a while, and I just said, Carl, bullshit. I won. Kara came here, and she has been outstanding. In the 3 years now that she's been here, she has to be extended in place. We gleefully granted that request. She has been at the tiller for MDSS in the midst of the hair pulling renovation, negotiations with the multi-service market, Ebola response. It's not like we made it easy on her. But Kara, true to her past, excelled here. Not only excelled, she just flat out outshone most of her peers. And I got to tell you that no one deserves promotion to 06 more than you. And I'm so glad this day came. The only crime is that it didn't come last. And my book. And I'm the one talking, so that's okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the last time, Lieutenant Colonel Gormont, it has been my pleasure to serve with you. And more than that, I think most of us are, to see you change out that ring. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated as Colonel Gormont's family comes forward to pin on her new rank. Pinning on her coat are her mother, Dr. Barbara Carr, former Director of Nurses in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, her father, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Jim Carr, a former Air Force pilot with combined 6,000 hours in the C-141, O-2, and T-38 airframes, who served as a forward air controller in Vietnam, earning the Distinguished Flying Cross, Bronze Star, and Air Medal with 9 oak leaf clusters. Joining her parents are her godfather, retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Jim Webb, a former Air Force fighter pilot with a combined 2,800 hours in the F-5, F-106, and F-16 airframes, to name a few. Also helping with the pinning on are her husband Kevin, an Air Force veteran with 10-year government civil servant with the Navy, and her uncle Ike Hookwater, who has traveled here from Florida to be part of this ceremony. As is our military tradition, when promoted, the promotee retakes the oath of office. Today, this tradition will be especially remarkable, as Colonel Gormont's uncle, retired Air Force Colonel John Zink, will administer the oath of office as she accepts her new rank in the United States Air Force. Colonel retired John Zink served in the Air Force from 1942 to 1966. During World War II, he was stationed in the South Pacific as a P-38 pilot for 20 months, flying 157 missions with 550 combat hours. He received the Pacific Theater Ribbon with 6 clusters and 6 battle stars.
Having been appointed a Colonel in the United States Air Force,
Having been appointed a Colonel in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purposes.
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office upon which I am about to enter, so help me God.
of the office upon which I'm about to enter, so help me God. That was the best part.
Thank you, sir. It is an honor to have all of you with us today and join us and carry on one of the time-honored traditions of military service. You've all been seated, so that's good. I think the floor is yours, ma'am.
Okay. Well, good. Well, I am not going to be as graceful for to stand up here. I'm going to definitely get some podium time. But I do, at first, I wanted to say very, very much thank you to Senior Bloomfield, and I appreciate you stepping up so quickly to do the national anthem, because I know that was a little bit of a last-minute thing, so thank you very much. And then for Chaplain Branningham and Colonel Johnson, too. I am so happy that people that I served with when I was deployed were able to be here. Chaplain Branningham, you really, I don't know where you're going, but you really honored me with being here. Oh, here you are, with being here today and blessing the ceremony. So really, thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate that. And then also, and the many officers and senior NCOs that poured hours and hours and hours into this. It seems like it's going to go fast, so it's only going to be about 30 minutes tops, and we're going to have a nice little party afterwards, but it's just hours of planning, many hours of planning. So thank you very much for your professionalism and all the work that you did. I appreciate that. And for Colonel Martinez, I appreciate you being here. Where's Colonel Martinez? Sound check, there it is. Colonel Martinez, and for the club staff for putting a really nice reception afterwards. It's going to be phenomenal. And Colonel Martinez is quite the musician, so that will be, that's yours. That's good. And then, sir, for you to be here, I really appreciate you being here. You know, we've done a lot together, 3 years. We've been two now, and we've definitely had to pull out some projects before, so it's been fun. And I appreciate that. And then headquarters staff, I appreciate you guys being here. I think you've been quite an church to me over the last year, so I appreciate you being here. It's been really great to serve with you. And pretty soon we're going to get to honor you with your retirement ceremony, so thank you for allowing us the opportunity to do that. Thanks. And ma'am, it's been such an honor to get to work with you for this last short little bit. It's not even a full year yet, but you've taught me so much already. And I mean, I have to tell you, when you first got here and we heard on the way in that you had the email for Friday, like, nuts. But that is one of the best leadership tools I think you've taught every single one of us. We really have learned from you how to have fun at work. Not that we didn't have fun, we did have fun. We've all learned so much from that. We really get out to know customers, we get to have that face time, and that's really that collaboration and joining each other is huge, it's phenomenal. So thank you for all of that. And plus that knowledge is pretty cool. And Chief, thank you. You've been fun to work with. We're stuff at headquarters and here, so I appreciate that. You give me huge mentorship, and I know you deal with problems and anything else. But I appreciate you being there and trying to help me solve some really tough problems. So we can definitely have some big issues that we've had to work together, so thank you for that. And then for my executive staff, thank you guys for being there with me for so long. And I see Chief and from Forrest coming back to the previous executive staff, and Price back there too. I really appreciate the camaraderie that we've had, the friendship that we've had, just the fact that, yeah, we can duke it out sometimes, but no matter what, we're all on the same team, and we have to get the mission done. It's always patient first for us, and we all definitely, we know what the mission is, but even more importantly, we work together, we collaborate, and we really, we provide phenomenal care. So thank you for all of that support. That has been really fun. So I appreciate that. So with that, I think I'm going to grab my notes here and talk about a few other things. There's so many people to thank in a situation like this. One thing that I've been overwhelmed and humbled by the fact that there's so many people that have come here so far. And we'll talk about my family later, if I can keep it together, that is. Colonel Pritt, sir. One thing, you mentioned the two really fun things. I was going to say, I wanted you to be up here because really the reason why I'm here today is because of you. You're the one that has given me some of the most difficult jobs in my career, and I really appreciate that. You trusted me out at Troop, even though we definitely went into some bumpy roads because we didn't have a lot of support, and you were up at, MAGCOM up at PACAF, and I've made a lot of phone calls to me. All right, Carol, we gotta get this done. And we definitely wanted to get that done, but it was not without a lot of obstacles, and there was a lot of planning in that, and I really appreciate it. It was the funnest thing I've ever done. And when I'm back in my glory days, I'm gonna be a little old lady in the nursing home talking about things, that's what I'm gonna talk about. That's what I'm talking about. And I've got a lot of great pictures, and some of them were up there. And he did mention the flooding. The flooding was real. It was flooded to here when he came out, because he was sleeping in the hotel. I was sleeping in the tent, and it was up to here. The first night, it flooded twice, actually. And the first night that it flooded, I came running into the hotel, which was not easy just to get to the hotel, because he was up on high ground, and I was down on low ground, and the roads and Chute were just not that great. But when I got there, I was the one with hair on fire then. I was like, you guys can see it, you're not going to believe it. It's crazy, the water is up to here. And he's like, all right, calm down. Well, by the time they all get down there, the water's all subsided and it's gone and it's mushy. And he's like, yeah, okay, this is probably bad. And they're walking around in ankle-deep water at that point. Well, the second night, when it stormed again, then everybody definitely started believing us. It was quite a thing. And we all pushed together, we all got it all cleaned up, we knew the generals were coming, and, you know, it was quite a mess, because everything we had brought with us to shoot, to demonstrate, a lot of that stuff was thrown away, and so we had to really collaborate with the local hospital and kind of get things back spruced up, so when the generals got there, it looked great, and it did. But one thing, I don't know if you even know this, one thing that happened that was really, really funny was that when all the patients started arriving, they actually choose a toll of islands, and the furthest island from one end to the other spans 200 miles. That's a lot. Oh, and Manny Nashi, you were there with us, weren't you? CRG, that's right. So you remember this fun, right? We wanted to have some tents because it was so beating hot out in the Pacific, and we wanted to have some tents out there. So we got some tents. Well, then the wind started whipping up, and I was like, we got to have something to, you know, to hold down the tent. So the islanders of Chuuk were so phenomenal. They were so excited to have us there. So they ran back to their houses to get things to anchor it down. Well, one of them brought an EOD out with them and anchored it down. And one of the officers was running to me, and she goes, oh my gosh, I think there's an EOD here. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so all right, let's all panic. And I was thinking, okay, if we blow up the islanders, the generals are really not going to like us, and come put stuff on, they're going to get fired. But the way I handled it was like, okay, we need EOD, we call it in, get Manny Nashi because he's really awesome, and he would take it back for me, he would take it somewhere. But I just said, okay, why don't we just ask the people that have had this in their backyard for 50 years, why don't we just ask them to take it back? And that's what we did. Nothing blew up and everybody was safe. It was good. So with that, so my number one hardest job was Chuuk, and that was a lot of fun. And then you gave me the opportunity to serve at the 633rd for Medical Support Squadron. Which, you know, definitely has been, it's been a challenge, but it has also been one of the best things of my life. It's just a great group of people and a phenomenal mission, and I've been very, very happy to serve there and certainly serve under your leadership. That was great. But the third hardest thing that you gave to me, and my exec staff will remember this and support me fully on this, was that coffee kiosk. That was it. That was the hardest thing. Every day, right? Every day, Tanisha was on her head. Every day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, not every day. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, every time we met, you would say, Gormont, where's the coffee kiosk? Oh my gosh, coffee kiosk. How hard can it be to get a Starbucks in this building? They're everywhere. But finally, after 24 months, right before your change of command, maybe it has to be 24 months, because that was the first thing you gave me on day one. Finally, Mr. Kessler bailed me out and opened up a coffee kiosk, so I didn't get fired. Thank goodness. Okay. All right. One thing I just wanted to say is, with all of my family that's here, you can see that we have, you know, a huge legacy of service, you know, in the family. We actually have Johnny Zank, my Uncle Zank, who's a World War II pilot. His dad was also a World War I. So we have a long, long history of service. And it's just an honor that everybody came. I have my brothers both served. I have, you saw in the program, an Army Ranger and in the Navy, and my dad who's a pilot. And also, not only do we have a legacy of service in the military, we also have a legacy of service as nursing as well. So my mom, we heard that she's a doctor of nursing, and then my Aunt Billy was also a World War II nurse as well. And so we just, you know, it's always been, you know, legacy of service. And I guess I never really appreciated that as, you know, a young person. It's just sort of what was in the family and what people did for livings and stuff. But definitely, I mean, my mom's leadership as a nurse, when she owned her own nursing service, I guess, when I was growing up, I mean, I saw that my whole life. I remember, you know, being in Montgomery and going to serve patients that didn't have running water in the capital city of Montgomery in, you know, the 80s or whatever when we were there. It was amazing to see that. And I remember one patient in particular, I can't remember her name, but I remember she didn't have a dress to be buried in. Do you remember that? Yeah. And I remember you know, helping her make sure that her family had the honor of being able to, you know, have a nice dress and be able to bury her in that. And Colonel K, that's something you would do for sure. Because, I mean, sometimes it's just the dignity of taking care of a patient that really, really matters. Yeah, and I remember Mom, even, you know, way back then, they would actually pay you sometimes in food. They didn't have money to pay, they didn't have, you know, this kind of healthcare and stuff, but you know, and we have a lot of really beautiful quilts in the South. They can make some quilts. So a lot of times, you know, of course, Mom wasn't asking for anything, but they, you know, again, it goes back to dignity and you know, wanting to contribute. And so they didn't have anything but they had scraps of clothing, and they could put that together and make a quilt. And that was how often that she would take the money, because, you know, she didn't, it wasn't about that for her. It was just always about service. So to my parents, thank you very much for teaching me that, and to all of my relatives and to my brothers who aren't here right now, thank you for teaching me that it's important to serve both to patients and then, of course, in the military. Yeah, so this is getting harder. I need TJ here to tell me I'm going to have to buy her shoes if I start crying. Oh, there's TJ. All right, what's the shoe count? All right, so one thing, okay, Colonel, it's a really, really big deal, and you know, you get some privileges with rank. That's what they tell me, at least, right? So one of the things I was thinking about, like, privileges, what kind of privileges am I going to get with this rank? And I can't imagine any real different privileges other than the fact that I have the privilege to serve all of you. You know, I think all of us have recently been able to have people come up to us and just say thank you for your service, and we all just are like, are you kidding me? This is like awesome. This is like the best thing in the world to be able to do. So I mean, serving with all of you, serving with you all, especially at the 633rd Medical Support Squadron, it's such an honor to be with you guys. So that is one privilege that I definitely know that I'm going to continue to have. The other thing that I think that I want to concentrate on is the privilege of when you get this rank, you're obviously going to have a privilege of leading, and I've already had that as a squadron commander, and we'll continue to have those amazing job opportunities. But one of the things that I always want to make sure that I'm going to pay attention to is not having the focus on me as a colonel. That's not ever going to be my priority, and I hope I've done this for the squadron, is that my focus is going to be to turn the spotlight back onto you guys so that you all have the ability to shine, because really you all are the ones that are amazing. You guys are a group of extraordinary people doing extraordinary things every single day, and I really will make sure that when I have the privilege of being able to represent you, I will tell your stories. I will make sure that I'm blocking and tackling and freeing you guys up so that you have the ability to shine, and that you have the ability to do what you do every single day, what you want to be doing every single day. That's my job, and that's my responsibility, and I will continue to take that. And now I have birds, so I can fight even harder. The other thing is to have an influence. I will have the privilege of having a bigger influence, a bigger span of influence. And what I mean by that is that really that will give me more opportunity to fill the gaps, right? So you told me not to quit filling the gaps so much, but that gives me another opportunity to continue to fill the gaps. And even more importantly, it gives me the opportunity to help you guys fill the gaps, because it's filling the gaps and getting in the game and engaging with the mission and with the responsibilities we have. That's really, really important. Being able to influence in the environment around us is just one of the things that is most important, I think, by having this type of rank, and being able to work collaboratively. I know here at JBLE, it's always been a challenge, and if Colonel Miller was here, she would just express how important that is to have the joint base being able to function together as a joint base, and that we're collaborative together. And it's an honor to see you here, sir, particularly. And that we have been making progress with that. I think one of the things that I love the best about our squadron is that we have reached out of the squadron and out of the Met Group, and that we've reached into the base, and we've reached over to the Army. First with the leadership that my CGOs had on the CGOC Council, and put that together, and we actually have the first Army members on the CGOC Council, and that was phenomenal. And then we also have a group of people that work together with me in the CAT, and again, we are able to finally network over to the CAT and have the command and control that we can have good conversations with that side of the base when we need to. And that has been really phenomenal, and I think that is the privilege of having influence that I'll continue to try to expand upon and find other ways to interact. And then the last thing is just to create the environment, again, for talented people to be able to put policies in place and programs in place so that you guys can maximize your potential. I think my daughter Sydney actually said this. She said that I've helped to raise a brat like her and help put her on a good path. As you guys know, Sydney has been quite the challenge for me. She's always got something going on. But, we all have those problems. We all have those issues. It's difficult. Life is difficult. Every single squadron commander's call that I have, I always say that. Our lives are difficult. Our journeys are tough. we all walk different paths, and I think that's hard. And so my influence, again, my privilege as a commander, as a colonel, is going to be to continue to try to help influence your environment so that you're able to continue to be successful despite whatever challenges that you all have. So that's a huge privilege for me. So again, the true privilege of rank is to work with talented people in the United States Air Force. That's number one. And then an opportunity to lead and to focus the spotlight down, to have influence on your careers and to create an environment where you all can succeed. And of course, for my husband, there's also the parking space at the BX. Definitely. So I just have a couple more thank yous because we have to do that. Chief Select Hal, thank you. And Chief Botch too, because I see you over there on Skype. You two have made me successful. I'm trying to be loud so Chief Botch can hear me over there and quiet. You two have made me successful. This has been a phenomenal, phenomenal tour, and it's because of you guys. We have mowed the grass and fed the beast all the way through it, right? Sometimes that's figuratively, and sometimes that's literally, and I'll just let you guys be the judge of that. Yeah, so you guys make it look easy. I really appreciate it. You have a way of getting people to do crazy things at all hours of the night, and I really, really appreciate that. And speaking of crazy things all hours of the night, there's my shirts. Where's my shirt? Is he here? I think he's out helping people stop doing crazy things. I probably have a few other shirts that are here from the past too, but our shirts are amazing. Their commitment and their selflessness and their sacrifices and their time away from their family is huge. And so I just want to say thank you to my shirt. There you are. All right, so this I'll try to be brief because I know I'm getting kind of long-winded, but I do have to say thank you to my family. So, Uncle Johnny, thank you so much for making the trip. I'm so honored that you did that. So thank you. I know that wasn't easy for you to do it. And Becky, thank you so much for making sure you got here and driving. He's on the fly, so I appreciate that. And Mary Lou and Sharon, thank you for allowing him to come and participate in this. I really, really appreciate that. And Nan Raj, thank you for making the trip. I'm so glad you guys could be here. It was special. Thank you. Thanks for being here. And Evan and Susan, I'm so grateful that you guys felt that you wanted to be here. It's such an honor that you could come. And I'm really, really thankful of that. And Dr. Doucette, we have really made a friendship since we've been here. We got to meet Colonel Pritt, took us out to meet each other a couple of years ago, and I felt an instant volunteer. You have a huge, obvious the amount of service that you have and the pride that you instilled in your workforce at Bon Secours. And then your CV is like crazy. It's like 8 pages long or something. It's amazing. He's an amazing guy. I learned a lot from you, and I really appreciate the friendship during this time. So thank you very much. Okay, and then the front row. Ooh, okay, PJ, you're on. All right. So for my okay, this is gonna be hard. I knew you were gonna do this to me.
Not me.
I know. Okay, so there's Jim, right? And thank you for being here because we know you're really bringing Gail. TJ, you got one pair. All right, and Kathy, it's been great having you here so close. We've never, in all of our careers, you're on one side of the world and we're on the other. And so as soon as you've been overseas almost the whole time, we hardly have ever been. As soon as we go overseas, you come back. It's like, great, that's great. We'll never see Kathy. But now you're in DC and we're here, so it's just been phenomenal to have you close. And we've been exploring Virginia and DC, and it's great. Yes. And for again, Mary, glad you're here. We know you. I haven't seen her yet, so it's exciting. That's good. And I try to do the things for you, Mom and Dad, before, so that I wouldn't cry too much here. But you guys have done, you just have done so much to me, for me, and for Kevin, and for the girls, and so thank you very much. Have a little something. been a difficult journey for us to get here. It's not been easy, that's for sure. I think, I tell my officers this all the time. Serving is not for everybody. We all know that. It's only 1% of the United States that ever serves. And then to serve for 20 years and to serve with you by my side, it's been, kind of an honor. And I'm so glad that we're on the journey together. We were in for 6 years, and then I got out. You got out to get your engineering degree. And this is how that went down. So he didn't even tell me he was applying for schools, right? This is how that went down. He didn't even tell me he was applying for schools. So I'm on my own little nursing trajectory. I've got my flight nurse job all lined up, and I'm all excited. I just got out of NSM. I just got out of flight school. I'm on the path, right? I'm so excited, loving to be a nurse. And then all of a sudden he comes to me and goes, I got accepted at Ohio State University. And I was like, that? Like Captain Praylock said, it's not in the pyramid. That is not on the plan. So I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? So we started trying to get to Wright-Patterson. That was at the time when nursing was actually being civilianized a lot. So we could go. And I'm like, okay, so I'm getting out. So I got to work at Ohio State University for 5 years. And while we were working on your degree. In the end, I was first a trauma surgeon nurse manager, and then I ended up being the director of international medicine. But then 9/11 happened, and that closed down, so I had to look for another job. And at that time, I completed my NHA, and we had to make a tough decision about what we're going to do. He was still in school. I didn't have a job. We had 2 kids. Like, oh, what are we going to do? So I never wanted to get out of the Air Force, and that was the time that we talked about it and decided that I would get back in. But we did not know how difficult the decision was going to be. I made the decision to come in as an MSc at that time. It's been about 13 years ago, and for 7 of those years, let's see if I got that right. I think I got this right. 7 of those years we've been, 4.5 of the years we've actually been geographically separated. 4.5 years. And this is from a couple that said we will never be that couple. Ever, ever, ever. We will never do it. There's no way. It's too important for the kids to have us both together. 4.5 years. You understand that, right? Right, Chico? So there's that. And then there's the other part that he's actually a welding engineer. There's just not that many of them. They can get jobs everywhere. He's also been unemployed for 3.5 of those last 13 years that we've been in. Not by choice, because he likes to work a lot. So it's been really, really tough. So 7.5 years of the last 13 have been extremely difficult, lots of transition, and we're about to do it again. So. Okay, and then just a few more folks that I just want to mention really quickly, and this will be quickly, by the way, so I keep a whole closet full of stuff. Would you think I'm about to bring it? Oh, Lord. Okay, so I just want to talk about people that aren't here really quickly, because it's being videotaped, and I think it's important. But Chris, my living son, he's here representing my girls who can't be here. Sutherland City, you guys know that they couldn't be here today. And that's just another sacrifice, if you will. I mean, of course, they're not sacrificing, they're in Hawaii. But it's a sacrifice for me, because as Air Force brats, they have to decide where they're going to go and what their journey is. And they're both so resilient, and they are so mature and so sure of what they want in life. They both left the house at 16 years old, so I think I did a little bit too good of a job with that. But they're at school. They're not able to actually be here today. If it would have been last week, they would have been on spring break, but they're not able to be here. And so, those two have been through a lot, and we've talked a lot about the transitions. And actually, Sydney, I counted them up last night, has been in 11 schools. 11 schools, crazy. I don't even know how that happened, but long story. That's Sydney. What do you do? 11 schools. And Cecily's just about as many, but also she did 4 schools in high school. So every year of her high school, she transitioned and had to make a change. And that was never an easy thing for them to do. But they did it, and that's great. And then I just also want to mention, I already mentioned Gail, so I'm not talking about her again. That's too much. And then my best friend, Gina, was not able to be here today. And you guys know Gina has been with me for 33 years. She's 19. And her husband has ALS. And so she was really trying to get in quite early when she was texting me, telling me how much she wanted to be here. But for you, Gina, because I know you and Mitch will be watching this, I just want, okay, we're going to cry. I just want you to know that we love you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Colonel Gormont. This concludes today's ceremony. Everyone is invited to the reception immediately following in the adjoining hall. On behalf of Colonel Gormont and her family, thank you for attending. Please rise for the playing of our Air Force song and the departure of the official party.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, flying